Gautam Buddha gave his first sermon in Benares, a city on the bank of Ganga. He was born as a prince in northern India around 563 BC. His name was Siddhartha Gautam. When he was 12, he was sent for schooling in Hindu sacred scriptures. And 4 years later, that is, at 16, he returned home and married a princess. They had a son. Being a prince, his life was full of luxury and happiness. He didn't know about the sorrows out there in the world. Then how did a prince, living a life of luxury, become enlightened? One day, at about the age of 25, that is, after 10 years of living a royal life, came across a sick man, then an aged man, then a funeral procession, and finally, a monk begging for alms. These sights so moved him that he went out into the world to search for enlightenment. He went out to understand how will the sorrows in the world end. For 7 years, he wandered, and finally, he sat under a peepal tree and pledged to stay there until enlightenment came. Enlightenment, deep spiritual understanding. After 7 days meditating under the tree, he got enlightened. He named the tree the Bodhi tree, which means tree of wisdom. And under that tree, he began to teach and to share his new understandings. At that point, he became known as the Buddha, which means the enlightened. He gave his first sermon at Benares, the holiest place on the river Ganges. Sermon, a religious talk. Let us see that sermon. Kisa Gotami had an only son, and the son died. In her grief, she carried the dead child to all her neighbors, asking them for medicine, grief, sadness. And the people said,
"She has lost her senses. The boy is dead."
After a while, she met a man.
"I cannot give you medicine for you are a child, but I know a physician who can."
"Pray tell me, sir, who is it?"
"Go to Sakyamuni, the Buddha."
"Lord and Master, give me the medicine that will cure my boy."
"I want a handful of mustard seed." The mustard seed must be taken from a house where no one has lost a child, husband, parent or friend.
She went from house to house, and the people felt sad for her.
"Here is mustard seed. Take it."
"Did a son or daughter, or father or mother, die in your family?"
"Alas, the living are few, but the dead are many. Do not remind us of our deepest grief."
She found that there was no house where any beloved one had not died. Kisa Gotami became weary and hopeless, and sat down at the wayside, watching the lights of the city as they flickered up and were extinguished again. At last, the darkness of the night dominated everywhere. She realized that it is the fate of men, that their lives flicker up and are extinguished again.
"How selfish am I in my grief. Death is common to all, yet in this valley of desolation, there is a path that leads to immortality, who has surrendered all selfishness."
Valley of desolation, an area filled with sorrows. Immortality, the ability to live forever.
The life of mortals in this world is troubled and brief, and combined with pain.
Mortals, humans.
For there is not any means by which those that have been born can avoid dying. After reaching old age, there is death. As ripe fruits are always in danger of falling, similarly, mortals, when born, are always in danger of death. As all earthen vessels made by the potter end in being broken, so is the life of mortals. Both young and adult, both those who are fools and those who are wise, all fall into the power of death. All will face death. When someone dies, no father can protect his child, nor can relatives protect their relations. Look! While relatives are looking on, and lamenting deeply, one by one mortals are carried off, like an ox that is led to the slaughter.
Means, the mortals die one by one, just like an ox that is being killed. So, a wise do not grieve, lament, grieve, cry.
Not from weeping or grieving will anyone obtain peace of mind. On the contrary, his pain will be the greater, and his body will suffer. the lamenting person will make himself sick, and the dead can't be saved by lamentation. He who wants peace should draw out the arrow of lamentation, and complaint, and grief. He who has drawn out the arrow, and has become calm, will obtain peace of mind. He who has overcome all sorrow, will become free from sorrow, and be blessed.